Election leaders across the state of Missouri are now trying to move forward with plans for the August primary, even though Missouri's congressional districts remain in limbo. Our Missouri Capitol reporter Hannah Falcon is breaking down why there is still confusion over whether a new congressional map is in effect or not.
For hundreds of thousands of Missourians, it's unclear which district you're going to be voting in. So this new map, designed to send one more Republican to Washington, D.C. in this new District 5, is being challenged by a veto petition. But whether that petition is enough to actually pause the new map is unclear. More than 300,000 signatures on a veto petition are still being checked for authenticity. If enough signatures are valid, the new map will be put on pause retroactively. The Missouri Supreme Court unanimously ruled the map remains in a state of limbo until the signatures are verified.
There is going to be a tight turnaround.
Boone County Clerk Brianna Lennon tells me she's started moving voters into their new districts, but she's concerned about the potential fallout if there's no legal confirmation on which map to use. Secretary of State Denny Hoskins has until August 4th, the same day as the primary election, to certify the veto petition.
I'm going to use the entire time that I have possible.
But Lennon says the integrity of the August election is at stake if the state waits too long. They may have to redo the election.
It's going to take resources, and I'm not sure where those resources will come from.
The group behind the petition is now suing Hoskins and Attorney General Catherine Hanaway, saying they're coercing election clerks.
Are we going to have to continue to defend Missourians' constitutional rights? It seems so, because it seems like we have politicians who are determined to violate them.
And if that veto petition is verified, then Missourians will vote on which map to keep in November. Reporting in Jefferson City, I'm Hannah Falcon.